Hello, so today I'm going to give a quick overview about this book, How to Know a Person. And the initial reason that I got to read this book is because it was our school summer reading book. And as soon as I opened it, it said you're not good at knowing another person as much as you think you are. And it just got me to think, what does it mean to actually know a person, and is there a specific how? And I actually found this book quite interesting, even though it's very thick. And so today I'm going to just give a quick overview about the book, my thoughts about it, along with what I think Brooks wanted to communicate to the readers. And by the way, I'm not going to go in the book's timeline, but in the logical flow. The book has loads of examples and stats, but obviously I'm not going to just go over through all of that stuff, but some central themes. To start, in the book, Brooks tells the readers that we live in a brutally dehumanizing society. In a society where people are having less closer friends, they feel socially detached, and where depression is getting more common and prevalent. And Brooks explains that we became sadder and meaner because we basically don't treat people with the consideration that we deserve. Yeah, well, actually, we don't know these social skills nowadays. How to reveal vulnerability, how to criticize people in a caring way, how to just sit down with someone who's kind of feeling sad, and all of that stuff. And in fact, the ability to truly see others and make them feel seen is more important than you may think. It's important from making marriage decisions, hiring and retaining workers, and to simple things like friends spending time with another friend. And Brooks says that life goes a lot better if you can see things from other people's point of view as well as from your own. And throughout the book, he tells us how we can see people well along with having rich conversations, using the concept of illuminator and diminisher. Illuminator is the person that we should all be, and it's a person who asks good questions and basically has the position of saying, so I'm going to respect you before you respect me. I'm going to view you holistically and not classify you, and I'll just listen to you well. And they have certain characteristics like tenderness, receptivity, active curiosity, affection, generosity, holistic attitude, and much more. And on the other hand, diminishers, they're saying, you're not important to me, I'm not curious about you, so I'm not going to ask any questions. And oftentimes they do tend to be anxious, they have no realism, objectivism, essentialism, and static mindset, and much more. And so the first phase of getting to know a person is to be an illuminator, to ask questions and shower them with attention. And Brooks says that attention, in fact, is quite a very moral act. A good person will try to look at everyone with a very patient regard, try to resist stereotypes and prejudice, to see the other more deeply and in a profound way. And this attention actually leads people to feel really seen, like when welcoming a newcomer, detecting an anxiety in a conversation and asking what's wrong, knowing how to host a party so that everyone feels included. And most of the time, it's just about being considerate towards others in the complex situations of life. The second phase is accompaniment, when you're not studying a person, but you're just getting used to them. Through small talk, doing mundane stuff together, playing together, our unconscious minds move together and wind together, and we get that sense of each other's energy, temperament, disposition, and manners. And because humans are flowing, they're not static, we get to attune to each other's rhythms and moods, and we get to know each other very well, even when we're not talking. And in terms of this precious act of accompaniment, we need to know how it acts in hard situations. And this is because, as statistics prove, as public life got better, private life got much more sadder too. Depression has become more prevalent. Many people talk about how their life is hard and miserable nowadays. And in this case, experts ask people to please not ask them why. Just be there for them when they come through the other side, and it will be the kindest and best thing a person could do. And I think that this is where like the art of empathy and presence comes, like, genuinely. The book explains that if we want to know other people, we basically need to understand what a person is. And a person is a point of view that can always change. Even in the same situation, every people involved in that experience might regard it differently. In fact, our mind creates a world of reality with beauty, ugliness, excitement, stress, enemies, friends, and we live within that construction. And people see the world with their entire life, regarding their past as well. And cognitive scientists call this constructionalism, a recognition that each person actively constructs their own perception of reality. The third phase of getting to know a person is to have a conversation. Having good talks is very important, and in fact, I think it's the most important part in getting to know a person because it's the part where you actually get into action, where you start to interact with other people. And a good conversation, it starts in one point and then it ends on the other point. So a person floats a half-formed idea, the other person responds, and they start to spark new ideas that they had never thought before. And we don't teach certain skills at school, which from my perspective should be taught because it's a very important skill. And here are some tips provided by Brooks how to be a good conversationalist. First, treat attention as a on-off switch, not as a dimmer. So treat attention as 0% or 100%, not like 40% or 60%, because that's worse. And second, be a loud listener. Third, make them authors, not witnessers. So make people get into their stories, let them narrate it more detailedly. Then next, don't fear to pause. Lastly, don't be the topper. Topper means like, oh, I know what you mean. I went that through too. So it kind of implies that meaning of, so I'm going to talk about my experience and not about yours. Then what makes a good conversation? The first is asking good questions. So what are good questions? They're not evaluative questions like, where did you go for college? What do you do for a living? Instead, good questions are generally open-ended. So they start with phrases like, how did you, what is it like, tell me about, and in what ways. And in conversation, it happens on two different levels. The first level is the objective reality, what we're nominally talking about. And under that, we have another layer, which is the flow of emotion passing between us. And I think this is the actual important part. So we should be aware of this emotion while talking. And this actually could be the reason that good questions aren't evaluative questions. And to give some examples that Brooks gives us in the book, some examples that he likes to ask is like, what crossroads are you at? What would you do if you weren't afraid? Stuff like that. Secondly, when you're talking with someone about the other person, ask them, tell me more about 5 times in a different way. And this is kind of a tip, and you'll find much more profound answers than the 4th or 5th answers than the first one. And this is actually having the meaningful conversation, like something that kind of goes beyond the normal conversation. And third, this is very basic, but it's very important. Showing respect. Show respect while you have conversation. So in conversation, respect is like air. When it's present, people usually don't notice it. And when it's absent, it's what everything that people can think about. Next, when talking with other people, it's important to think in a narrative thinking mode. Narrative thinking modes, it's like while talking, capturing the unique presence of that person's character to see how little thousand influences shape this person's point of view, his life, how this person thrived, and how this person kind of was altered during his life journey. On the other hand, thinking in the paradigmatic mode. So paradigmatic mode works very well in debates, maybe having to present something, but it actually kind of really bad at while having a conversation, as it makes kind of people slip into depersonalized habits of thought, not really showing any empathy. And before I end the video, I just want to make sure, as I explained, like at the starting of the video, because the book is really thick, it's literally like 5 centimeters, because it was so thick, I wasn't able to go through a lot of contents or any examples like that, but there are much more interesting information inside the book if you want to try it, and I really do recommend this book. It's actually really intriguing and it's very helpful. And lastly, I'm just going to give a one simple sentence that I think Brooks wanted to most communicate to the readers. In this world of brutal dehumanization, it's not naive to lead with curiosity, respect, or trust. And it's more important to actually know the people around you and know how to treat them well and make them feel seen so that the others can make you feel seen too. Thank you.